WISCOMP has been a part of the NTS Asia Consortium right from its inception, and one of the most exciting things about the consortium has been the interdisciplinary space that it provides for dialogue and discussion on non-traditional security issues. And for us particularly, that is very important because the traditional security think tanks in South Asia especially weren't receptive to non-traditional security issues at all when the consortium started, which is in 2007. So to be able to have that dialogue with people coming also from the traditional security think tanks and having a dialogue and convincing, in some senses, converting them to non-traditional security and gaining commitment from them that human security is as important as state security has been one of the important things that we have been able to achieve through the consortium. This year's conference is particularly important because it deals with the Sustainable Development Goals and the issue of climate change, on which it's extremely important that both the regional formal organizations as well as international formal organizations and the people's communities or people's representatives, that's smaller NGOs, smaller think tanks, community-based organizations work together, because sustainability can only be achieved when all of these different levels of engagement fructify into something which can handle and grapple with climate change. So it's at a time when there seems to be some reservations about whether international community can work together, given all the polarization that is happening all around us, all the kind of doomsday scenarios that are being promoted across. So to have a conference which talks about collaboration and partnership on sustainability, on saving the planet is, just the right time, because we need the optimism. So that is a big contribution that NTS Asia and RSIS is kind of making at this time. On the issue of peace and security and the importance of achievement of sustainable development goals, I mean, I personally feel that there is no way that peace and security can be removed or teased out of sustainability. Very often there is a tendency to see armed conflicts and absence of peace as exacerbating the climate change effects. But it's also true that if there are wars, that we're going to have more severe impacts of climate change on communities and on people's security, on human security. So the links between the two, absence of armed conflict and our achievement on climate goals that we have set out for ourselves, the two cannot be separated at all. We will not achieve our climate goals of reduction in temperatures, ensuring that sea levels don't rise, if we don't reduce armed conflicts and wars. So the two are completely intertwined, and at the same time, if we continue to exclude people from development, if we continue on the unsustainable path of development, we'll see more conflicts, we'll see more wars. And so those two are connected to each other. Women are going to be disproportionately impacted because we have seen from experience, and a lot of empirical research shows that women are affected disproportionately by war and armed conflict. Although they can also be participants, so I'm not saying that they are only victims of war. They could even be perpetrators of wars. But at the same time, we also know that women play a very important part in building peace, and that across the world there are examples that women have played an important role in peace building. And so is true also of climate change. So while women are very often described as victims of disasters induced by climate change, but women are also repositories of a lot of knowledge, which is knowledge which can lead to more resilient planet. They are at the forefront of energy conservation. They are at the forefront of food security issues, issues of agricultural sustainability, some of the practices that fisher women have, some of the practices of ensuring that the right kinds of seeds which don't absorb too much of water. That knowledge resides with women in many parts of the world. So we at WISCOM see women as active participants in both ensuring that sustainable development goals are achieved and the effects of climate change are mitigated, people are able to adapt to that, and there's a lot of knowledge that women can offer to the discourse that is going on.